Today I'm going to show you how to make a scrunchie using some fabric I found at the Dollar Tree. So the first fabric is this bandana fabric, and then you can actually get 2 bandanas in the one package for $1.25 at the Dollar Tree. And I thought the fabric was pretty, and I thought, why not try to make a scrunchie out of it? It is a little bit of a thinner fabric, so you have to be a little bit more careful when you're sewing it. And this is a thicker fabric. It's actually in a fabric roll, and they had a whole bunch of different options there today. And this is also $1.25, and you can't make as many scrunchies with this, but I think it makes a better scrunchie because of the thick fabric. They're both different lengths, but that's okay. You can use different lengths for your scrunchies. I make them in about a 3-inch width, but 3.5-inch width also makes a nice scrunchie. You could just make more scrunchies if you're doing it a 3-inch width. I love this big ruler. It's a great cutting guide. You can get a straight cut this way. And I use my cutting mat, and I just cut it for 3-inch width as long as the length is of your bandana. And just continue doing that all the way down. Make sure you cut it good because those little strings will pull on your bandana because it's a thin fabric. So from this bandana, I was able to get 6 different pieces, which makes 6 different scrunchies. So that means out of this one package for $1.25 from the Dollar Tree, I can make 12 different scrunchies. And continue cutting them all the way down. I love these 2 fabrics as well. So this is the thicker fabric. You're going to cut it 3 inches wide as well, but you can do 3.5 inches if you want. This is a longer length, but that's fine. Just continue cutting all the way down the length. This doesn't make as much scrunchies for the same price as the bandanas, but again, the bandanas are a more thin scrunchie. If you want a thicker scrunchie, this will make 5 with this one piece of fabric. So what you're going to do, these are the same on either side, so it doesn't matter which way you fold it. But typically, if you have a fabric that has a floral pattern on one side and not the other, you want to do the blank side or the more faded side out. And then you're going to fold it outwards because that's going to be the inside of your scrunchie. You don't want it to be seen on the outside. Fold the 2 ends and sew them together. You don't have to do a back stitch or anything because they're going to be sewn another way. So just sew along the outside edges right there. And then cut that string off. And then once you have that done, you're going to get just a regular hair tie. I love using these hair ties instead of actual elastic because I feel like it makes a stronger scrunchie, especially because I have thick hair and those scrunchies don't hold my hair, or the elastic bands don't really hold my hair very well. So these hair ties, I just get a huge pack on Amazon, and you can get them for rather cheap for how many you get. And I just find that a much better way to hold my hair in place than those elastic. Okay, so you're going to back stitch right where that seam is. You put your 2 seams together. And then you're going to sew all along the outward edge. You will see the stitching on your scrunchie, but not enough to make it super noticeable, and just make it right on the edge like that, all the way around. And you're going to keep on folding just a little bit of each end around that hair tie until you've reached the end. Just make your folded edges match up as much as possible. and keep doing that all the way around. And you'll want to push back the scrunchie along the hair tie every once in a while to get it out of the way, or it'll get too bulky to work with. This is a very easy way to make a hair scrunchie. I've tried so many different ways, and this is the way I like the best. There's no need to complicate it or anything. You just fold it and sew all the way around, and it will end up working out for you. And try to keep folding the fabric over around the same width each time to make your scrunchie even. But even if you mess up a little bit, it's not going to be noticeable because your scrunchie ends up the fabric being all scrunchy anyway, so they're very forgiving. The end right here I think is the hardest part. You need to get it pushed in. You can use some sort of sharp utensil that you have and fold it under, but getting it folded under right there at the end I think is the hardest part. There we go, finally got it. And then just close it off. At the very end, you're going to be at that seam again. You're going to do another back stitch to make sure that thread doesn't come out. Then cut it off. And cut off any loose ends, make it look nice and neat. I'm going to need to get a new seam ripper scissor because mine are getting dull. And then you want to fluff it out to make it look cute. And it turns into a really nice scrunchie. I want to show you a faster way to get these scrunchies started. So we're going to do a chain stitch to start all your scrunchies. Since we cut all the fabric already, the next step to do bulk scrunchies like this would to do a chain stitch through all of the start of your scrunchies, just like this. Fold all your fabric. The backs of your fabric should be on the outside, but again, these fabric are the same on each side, so it doesn't matter which side I do. Put your stitch along the edges of all of them, and then you're going to simply cut the thread between them. There's no need for back stitching or anything because they're going to be sewed together a different way. And I'm just showing you the start of the other scrunchie that had the floral pattern on it. This is the other bandana. I wanted to show you what it turns out to look like because it's also pretty. And when I was there at the Dollar Tree, they had a lot of different bandana fabrics. This would work with any of those as well. And just fluff it out. This turned out cute. I made sure the collar was on the outside of this one because I thought that would be a fun pattern. The solid collar and the flower in the middle. I like how this one turned out as well. So there's the two bandana scrunchies. And now this is a better fabric, I think, to work with. This is just one of those fabric rolls that was at the Dollar Tree. They had a bunch to choose from. And I'm going to slow this scrunchie down so that you can see the process better. Right there on the seam edges where I folded over is where I like to start stitching. I feel like it makes it even and it makes it end in the right place more frequently. Start here, start stitching with it folded over and get everything into place and line your folded edges up. And it's folded over the scrunchie. Start stitching and then do a back stitch and then continue on. And that's going to keep it secured in place. And you can probably tell how much easier, just from how the sewing machine's acting, this material is to work with. The thicker material is a lot easier to send through the sewing machine, and it's a lot easier to fold and keep in place. but the bandanas made a lot more scrunchies. Okay, so now we've got that process finished. Cut off all of your thread that's sticking out. And I think this also made a prettier scrunchie and a more full looking scrunchie. So here's the 3 different scrunchies made from the Dollar Tree fabric. I think they all turned out really cute and I really like them.